talk about Jiu Jitsu, what they usually mean is the Brazilian version. Jiu Jitsu came from Japan to Brazil in the beginning of the 20th century, and the sport hasn't been the same since. And most of the credit goes to generations of a single family. Meet the Gracies.
For most people, it's just a sport. To me, it's a way of life. It's the way that I chose to live my life. And I've been doing this since I was 5 years old.
When martial arts fans think of the sport, one of the first names that pop into mind is Gracie. The Gracie family, that is. They perfected the Brazilian version of Jiu Jitsu, and Renzo Gracie is one of the most famous. In Japanese, Jiu Jitsu means the gentle art, and generations of the Gracie family have created a dynasty in this not-so-gentle art.
I'm 45 years old now. I'm in an age that I had the chance to meet all the generations in my family. So I'm meeting the first champions, and for sure I'll meet the next ones.
And how do you feel about training your own son and your family?
This is unbelievable. It's a unique chance to give back to my family what I receive. You know, I was trained by them since in a very early age, and now I have the chance to do the same. And I see those kids that I actually changed diapers becoming champions now. You know, and that really rewards every time I sweat in a mat.
Gracie's Academy in New York City has more than 1,300 students, and among them, many champions. Gianni Grippo, 20 years old and 5 times a world champion, started training when he was 10 and never left the mats.
I took it as just a hobby for my first 2 years. I mean, 11, 12 years old, who doesn't just take it as a hobby? But when I went to the Worlds the first time in 2004, that was my first experience, and it was just insane. The way the crowd was the entire time and how passionate they were about the sport and how technical the display was out there. I was talking to my dad on the phone for like 5 hours afterwards. Like, I couldn't stop talking to him. I was like shaking after, So I knew that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life when I saw that.
The sport became the most important part of life for Gianni and others, who made the gym their second home.
I spend my whole day at the academy, teaching, training. Jiu-Jitsu is everything for me. So.
For me, Jiu-Jitsu now is more than I don't know if I say a job, but it's more than this. I just train for 3 times per day.
I'm not a partier. I don't like to go out and party at all. Actually, I've never gone out. So, but I feel like I've benefited from it. I've matured faster. I've learned a lot from people around here. Both on the mat and off the mat.
Diogo, Rafael, and Gianni are preparing for the World Championship of Jiu Jitsu that will take place in California next month.
I think competition brings the best of you. It's like when you compete, you learn. Life is competition, and the competition teaches you how to get better, how to overcome a real situation. When you walk out, it doesn't matter if you won or if you lose. Everybody's a winner because both were learning.
It makes life, worth living. I like that adrenaline rush. I like the thrill of being alive.
My biggest dream is to be a world champion this year. I hope I can close out there with my teammate and friend, Gianni Grippo.
But the Gracie's legacy goes beyond the competitions. Renzo's grandfather, Carlos Gracie, used to say that Jiu Jitsu is a combination of spiritual and physical strength. The idea is to take down your opponent and force them into submission by using what are called joint locks, immobilizing your opponent like you see here, or chokes. The opponent then taps, signaling he gives in.
Jiu-Jitsu is about leverage. It's not just about strength.
Jiu-Jitsu is commonly used in self-defense situations and also for law enforcement training.
This is a sport that molds itself to everybody. It belongs to you, it belongs to me. If you embrace that as a way of life.
But for me, it's my life now. It's actually a little scary how much I think about it.
Jiu-Jitsu is everything for me, right?
You see, to be humble to those above you, it's easy. To be humble with those next to you, it's very fair. But to be humble with those below you. So this Jiu-Jitsu teaches you a lot. It's greatness, and I do believe Jiu-Jitsu teaches you greatness.
Proof of the versatility of the sport, Helio Gracie fought until his death at 95 years old. If it depends on Renzo, he will follow his granduncle's footsteps.
Like I can picture myself, if I live until I'm 95, I will still be doing this.